Hello, and welcome to another podcast. I've been meaning to write the obituaries for 4 different people, and they're going to be joint obituaries, but every time I draft, my editing app does not want to edit because of the words I use, which I kind of understand. But also at the same time, it's very frustrating to do all that work and then have it not be edited and rephrased. So I'm here to do it on audio podcast. So I am 4 months and change out of an abusive, toxic relationship. And that relationship lasted 4.5 years. The entire time, my partner, or who I thought was my partner, was dating and now is married to the woman he's been with since he was 22 years old. Mind you, she is older than his mother, and I don't know how old his mom is, but in any event, that's disturbing, as in an age gap relationship. The fact that she is old enough and older than his mother is just ridiculous. But I digress. I was fumbling around during the pandemic and exploring new apps, and I was not intentionally trying to meet anybody. I was not looking for a relationship, but lo and behold, the powers that be thought that I could benefit from this long-distance relationship. Mind you, I have never dated anyone local, and I still haven't to this day. Sometimes I get asked, what do I think of a long-distance relationship? And to be honest, I'm not a fan anymore, especially when I got treated as I did. I don't want to be with someone who has the chance or ability to have a double life ever again. I want to be able to see my partner, to be with them in person. I don't want to have a relationship over the phone, over the internet, over FaceTime. In those 4.5 years I was in that situation, I only saw him twice, and partially that was because of the pandemic. The other part was because he was still with her after he told me that they had broken up and she was only living in his house because of financial situation. So there was a whole bunch of red flag situations that I should have seen, heard, gathered, put in my basket and said, I don't want to be here. But every time I would confront him about the relationship that they had, I would get presented with many, many excuses. And those excuses came in dressed as she can't move out because of this. She can't do this because of that. And every time I got suspicious, he would come back with another excuse dressed as a reason. The entire 4.5 years I was in that relationship, they were still together behind my back. And I was frustrated as fudge many, many times. And I wanted to untie the bond many, many times. But every time I tried, he would come back with a, please don't leave me because this, or this. So I took his whatever it was, I regret that because I knew better, but yet I was allowing myself to be influenced by him. And there were times where she would try and contact me, but after a while I blocked her number because I didn't know the truth, or I wasn't allowed to know the truth, because he said, block her number, don't talk to her, don't give her the attention that she wants. So he was playing both sides of the fence. He acted as if he wanted to leave her, but in reality, he was still with her. Moral of the story is, if I had my druthers, if I knew what was good for me, if I would have known that I should have trusted my instinct, I would have left the situation 1.5 years before it came crashing down. And it came crashing down because he allowed her to look at his phone. He allowed her to interact with me under the guise it was him. Or interact with me and then get mad at me because I did something after he went to bed. And he would tell me, don't text or call after a certain hour. And I'm thinking, number one, this is me looking back at it. Number one, what the fuck? Number two, excuse me? Maybe reversed. So I was not very happy for the last 1.5 years of the relationship, but I didn't have the guts to be the one to end it. And to be honest, neither was he. He did not end the relationship. He wasn't mature enough to end the relationship. It was her that did it on election night of 2024. She had been trying to communicate with me for about 6 months. And she would always go into his phone, etc. And it was a shit show that I wish I had not gotten tickets to. Do I feel like it was my fault? The only fault I had in that relationship was sticking around, was accepting the lies and bullshit and drama. Because they wasted 4.5 years of my life that I cannot get back. I trusted him when I shouldn't have. And now they are legally married. Oh, let's see. 22 days after the relationship that I was involved in went to the shitter, they went to the courthouse. But the drama didn't end until December 4th because he was so determined to prove to me that the marriage license was fake, the wedding itself was a joke, etc. He said to me that he and I could go to the courthouse and get a marriage license and it would go through. As I am sitting here looking at the legal paperwork of his marriage license, his wedding certificate, etc. And do I regret wasting my life with him? Abso-fucking-lutely. I wish I'd never met him. I wish I had never answered that mental health situation. And I know that sounds cruel, but I wish I'd never, ever answered him. And maybe this isn't the obituary post I was wanting to make, but telling the story is good enough. The other thing that bothered me very much was the fact that he would keep changing jobs every 3 to 4 months, whether he was fired or whether he quit. I don't know on the last one. I know he got fired from Schneider. But I don't know about the other ones, if he quit or if he got fired, or if he got fired and he told me he quit. I don't know. Because he is the type of person that doesn't accept that you are the problem. So, as I sit here sipping my coffee and my water, I feel like the more I tell the story, the better I feel. The more I expose the truth, the better I feel. Now, my gut told me that he was lying about having his own business, regardless of if he got the sweatshirt that said TownLineTruckingLLC. You can get the hat, you can get the sweatshirt, but when I see on your Facebook page that you're now driving for another company, when you told me that you were buying your own truck, making payments, etc. It was in your name, whatever. I caught you in your own lie, mister. And Tribe Express is the company he's with now. And it is a woman-owned business, which is, I have no qualms with that, but the moral of this part of the story is that he lied about whatever he was trying to tell me earlier about owning his own company, etc., etc., etc. So, like I was discussing with my neighbor yesterday, all of the shit that he told me was an absolute joke of lies. And I agree with my neighbor when they say that I dodged a bullet, almost literally, because they were threatening me left and right. Or at least she was. And I know people say that you need to keep and document all of the threats and bullshit. But in my situation, I don't believe it's healthy for me to keep photos and threats and bullshit. And the fact that I know that I'm safe right now is what matters to me. And I'm glad I looked at his Facebook and know that he changed companies, because now I know not exactly the truck he's driving, but I know what to look for if I see it in my area. I don't know if it's going to be in my area since the company is out of Georgia. But better safe than sorry. And while I'm here, I might as well do the obituary for my biological father, because I don't want to have to do another excited, overwhelming situation. And Lord knows I have time, since I'm not going out today. To wrap up the situation with Chris LeClaire and Nancy LeClaire, I only saw Chris twice in 4.5 years, and that was 2.5 years in, after the pandemic situation had quieted down. I saw him twice in 6 months. I saw him January of 2023, and I saw him April of 2023. And every time I asked him about visiting again, etc., yada yada, it was, I'm working, I can't, I want to, but I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But yet he's visiting his family in Indiana. He's able to go home and do this, that, or the other thing. And mind you, he told me that the relationship with his family was a bunch of shit. And I don't really believe that now. I'm wondering if he is actually the black sheep of the family. It wouldn't surprise me, but it all could be a lie in the end. So I don't really know. So when you think about catfish, you think about people lying about their identity. You also have to think about the fact that they lie about their jobs. They lie about their relationships. They lie about this, that, or the other to try and manipulate into a situation they want to be in. Or they say they want to be in, but do they really? And that's just, I'm ready to not be in a relationship beyond friends for a very long time, because I'm not going to be in a relationship where my energy is not matched. At all. That's one thing that I learned from that experience. Is being in a relationship with someone who does not match my energy, who does not match my commitment. That's a big no for me now. And I used to trust people randomly just because they're a nice person. That has gone out the window as well. So, we think about that. And since this entry has taken me much longer than I thought, because I unpacked so much bullshit, I'm not going to add the one for my biological father and stepmother, because I don't want their stories to be commingled with this drama. So, for now, I'm going to end it. I may come back with a part 2 of Chris and Nancy LeClaire drama. But for right now, I'm going to go enjoy my life. So thank you for listening. You are appreciated.